So I'll have to put that calculation back. So that was happening right around here, I think. Must have just taken it up by accident. And I was basing this off, let's see. Slide. Partially based off a snippet I found on here. Let's see. There we go. So I think I want to take this part out and we want to say if, because so basically the controller collider hit happens on move. So we're doing our calculations post move, or doing like figuring out are you grounded post move and then using it on the next frame. So I just got to keep that in mind that there's just a kind of order of operations thing here. So if the surface we're on is not climbable, oops, then it's kind of cheeses for now. So if it is not climbable, then our slope limit minus 10. Otherwise, our slope limit something like that. But yeah, the nice thing about this versus the just having vertical walls. Cat stole my chair. Is getting to the top will be much smoother. It's kind of, well, almost. Probably have to find the right slope for this to work. Got kind of stuck there a little bit. Yeah, okay, so back to where I was maybe a week ago, where because it moves, yeah, the way this is set up, and this is what I was saying earlier, I may have to refactor this a bit because I'm relying on that controller collider hit event. I have to move the controller first, and then I push them back, so you end up with like this kind of stuff, where you just kind of jitter against the wall. Right? It should be fine against normal walls, but anything with a slope, it's beyond our limit. So either I'll have to find a different approach, or do a kind of safety check to say, well, don't even bother moving them if you know you're just going to push them back on the next frame. But that aside, and that little glitch at the top, I guess there's this one. It's a solid foundation anyway. And I guess at the top that would be because why? Let's see. So it must be thinking it must be thinking that it must be off the climbable surface and it's still seeing slope, maybe? That's kind of what it looks like. But yeah, my thinking is, like, you could either climb back down or you could just take the quick way and go. because the way it pushes the player, you basically end up... As it pushes you away from the surface, you're getting pushed like here, and you just go kind of flying off, which is a bit more aggressive than I'd like. Yeah, well, it's a start. Okay, I think I'll take a quick break soon. Maybe tackle something else. Because yeah, like I ended up saying at the end of the last stream I worked on this during, it's gonna take a bit of thought to get this working right. I do think I need to do a raycast before I move the player. There's any way around that. Whether I solely switch to that or whether I just use it as a kind of safety check to say, like, if directly in front of the player is a slope, then don't even let them move in this scenario. Then what would happen here is the question. When we get to top, would... No, it should... No, that's going to be the trick, though, because that's going to be a little bit above the controller. And then as far as this is concerned, try a slightly lower value for the friction here. It might be possible to get that sliding down working with just the right kind of magic number. I don't like magic numbers, but see, that's more like what I want. Right, so where you're maintaining contact. And I'm not currently using the angle of the slope to figure out how much to push the player, so that's probably... Right, like this guy's example here, he is using the normal. And I guess I sort of am. Yeah, like that's the slope. Normal at x. Okay, well, I really do want to get this working, so no promises, but I think I'll keep going with this after the break, because I really kind of have been picking away at it bit by bit, and I've basically just gotten back to where I had it like a week ago, so that's a bit frustrating. So I think if that's kind of working, this is kind of working, and this is kind of working. So it's really just this, and this. And then it will at least be kind of basically functional. There's some stuff I've been kind of contemplating, like if... Well, for one thing, I definitely know that I want to have this slow the player down. Like right now I can just run up, which doesn't really make sense. Really, if you're thinking like you're kind of climbing up this thing, you should be going pretty slow. But I'd like to have it use the player's stamina as well. Because my thinking is maybe you'll enter into a room, you'll see the the wall that will take you up to the next level. And, you know, maybe there's some enemies around, and you gotta kind of sneak in and preserve your stamina. So if you were to, like, run into the room like this, and I've got cheats activated, which is why I have so much stamina. But if you were to run in and then try to climb it, maybe you wouldn't have enough stamina to get to the top, and then you would slide back down. So that's the thinking with that. So, yeah, so maybe I'll try that. Maybe I'll try the raycast thing. I think at the very least, it could fix this. I'm not 100% sure it will fix this. I just wonder if that's because of our slope limit. Yeah, it might be. Could be as simple as that. Could be because, of course. Because I don't know that it's exactly... I don't know the exact angle of my slip, so... There could be a little bit of quirk because of that, but... No, I don't think it's that. No, maybe that was pretty smooth, actually. Yeah, maybe not. Yeah, no. Kind of wishful thinking. Okay, I'm gonna take a quick break, and then I'll see if I can fix a couple of these quirks and get this thing kind of working a bit more consistently. So hang tight for maybe 5 or so minutes, and then we'll be back. All right, and we're back, and my cat's still in my chair. And by the way, ask me about my T-shirt. Someone, you have to ask to see it. It's a very nice one. I will not show it unless somebody asks. So, let's see if we can't fix a couple of these quirks here. So we'll try adding a raycast for that one. I think what I'll probably do before the end of the stream is see if I can get a GIF of the new Super Rocket Ride hazard. So remind me in like half an hour to do that. Alright, so let's see. See if we're already doing a raycast. We have a raycast for crouching, and what's this one for? This is for probably walking on slopes, it looks like. Yeah, by the way, I have behind me a special holiday treat. It's the Grinch. So, can we use this to our advantage? Because this is basically doing what I need, I think. It's figuring out, like, where we're going, and then doing a raycast where we're trying to go. And it does look to account for slopes as well, so. Hit info. Is that even used? No. Yeah, I wish I had my chair. It's so much better for my back than this thing. It's just chilling though. I will set up the cat cam someday. So theoretically, this has what we need. Because it's that normal that we want to check. Basically before we try to move the player. Right? So right around here. In fact, it kind of makes me question why I'm doing this in the controller collider hit event. Potentially I could just use this and do it before. Well, I'll try it. So I'm just going to comment stuff now rather than delete it. And I should probably add like a flag or something so I can actually just toggle between the old and the new climbing and actually commit this stuff, because I haven't committed this file in like a week or more. I don't like doing that because then you don't really see the history, so. So let's see. Hit info. Okay, so we'll have to declare this outside of here, right around here. And then we may not, it may be null because alright, let's initialize it to null so that we can do a check on that. Oh. Okay. Fine. So I'm just making it nullable so I can actually do. Okay. No. Yes. And then we got to do hit info dot. In fact, if has value, then the value is the thing that we need. Does this have a tag? Tag, yes. And dot. Okay, yeah, we'll do this. It's a bit messy, but I just value normal. Just don't have to go changing all this code. So hit normal. All right, let's read that. So what will happen though if we don't enter that block? We won't have a value for hit info, and therefore is grounded will just stay false. So we should do a bit of a, yeah, we should probably move this inside here for now, so we don't end up pushing the player in that scenario. Okay, so yeah, basically not relying at all on controller collider hit right now. So we'll see. But I think, oops, what is that? Yeah. Okay, I'll have to do a little bit more finagling here. So yeah, let's declare another hit just so we can get the value out of here. And then hit normal. No, cast. What's that called? Hit info. Hit info equals. There we go. Yeah, he's still sleeping. Excellent. Oh, interesting. So that's saying, oops, that's saying, Are you saying there's no collider? Okay, let's just expose a little debug text here. Just to confirm that is in fact the case, but it looks like it because we have a value. I'm gonna close this one, I think. Yeah. It's definitely is a collider. It shouldn't be hitting things that don't have colliders. Huh. Okay. Okay, where is that? So we should have debug text. Where are you? Oh, did I not save that? Yeah, okay, there it is. It's not wanting to build. Yeah, that would do it. Okay, so I'm not bothered with that for now. If you see me randomly punch, it's just to get the mouse locked. Okay, so what are you saying? Text. Okay. Mesh collider, yeah, okay. That's room. Room, where are you? Room. Yeah, okay. Yeah, that looks okay. Now I don't know what tag returns if it's untagged, if it returns null, or if it returns untagged. I don't know off the top of my head. So compare tags generally a safer bet anyway. So I think that may be partially why it exists. So I should be using that anyway. Hopefully that's all it is. Alright, well, not quite. And now we're stuck. And why are we stuck? We're stuck because okay, so apparently there is a scenario where that can happen. Yeah, this is the glamorous side of game development. The trial and error. Okay, so at least we're not throwing a bunch of errors. I think I've inadvertently reversed the condition here though, because we can climb up the non-climbable and we slide down the climbable. Yeah, I must have messed this up. So that should be if it's not. Yeah, not the most glamorous side, but you know, gotta do it. This is how you realize the fame and the fortune. There we go. Okay, so we still got this though. Okay, and I know why. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know why that is. That's a bit better. So we slide down, and we can't jump up that one. Good. And we get stuck. And we don't get stuck. How about that? That's not bad. Alright, we still kind of go flying off, but I think that's because of the friction value is a little bit too high and it pushes the player a little bit too much. Yeah, okay, cool. So that should be 4, I think, for that to work. Okay, yes, and yes. Yeah, that'll be kind of cool when I get a nice kind of sliding sound going on. Cool. Okay, that's, and I think that makes sense. If you run off this thing, it probably makes sense to go kind of flying like that. I think what's actually happening is the controller's briefly hitting. It looks like briefly hitting the slope, and then kind of flying off. But alright, so I think for this one, what we want to do is I think we'll want to not move the player. So that would basically be if we're currently grounded and we're about to try to push the player, then just don't move at all. Whereas if we're not grounded and we're going to push the player, then just let this execute as normal. So, and he's still sleeping. And as I say every stream, if I sit here in silence, it's because I'm thinking. Sometimes you just need to stop and think for a bit. If I'm trying to talk nonstop, my brain kind of can't necessarily process complicated things. Okay, so we could have a kind of most crude way to do this would be to have like a was granted last frame flag, and then we could just compare. So if not grounded end was granted last frame, then don't do the move. We'll start with that. It's probably a cleaner way to do that, but just and okay, not grounded end was grounded last frame. And not okay. And then over here, if not grounded and no, that doesn't make sense. Not exactly. It shouldn't be exactly the same condition. It should be if Actually, okay. Yeah. Not as grounded and most grounded last frame. Hmm. I gotta think about this some more. In fact, that might be all it is. I think I was kind of overcomplicating it in my head. I think if we were grounded last frame, and we're not grounded now, we just don't want to do this. We still want to move. Yeah, we always want to move the controller. We never not want to do that because that'll cause a lot of issues. Like all gravity and everything's handled in here too, so that would make no sense. Okay. So square root of last frame equals. Okay. Should do it. You guys always feel free to post any questions in the chat if you're curious about what this is, or if you're working on something and maybe looking for some advice or to bounce some ideas around. This, again, is as much for me as it is for you guys. Not quite, so... Not quite. Yeah, I think because of that, now we end up with one frame here with a player. Which actually, well, apart from the kind of visual quirk, it's actually not a bad thing, because that'll ensure that we actually slide. It'll lower the probability of us just kind of flying off. Again, unless we're running. Okay, so that's... Okay, yeah. I think it isn't that simple. Because it's still... Yeah, we do need to restrict some movement here, potentially, because like we've calculated a move position up here based on, wherever it is here, based on doing some math and some raycasts to say, okay, where is the player about to go? Okay, if they're climbing, or if they're like walking up a slope, then project on that and figure out, okay, this is where they need to go, or this is how I need to move them to get them there. And so yeah, really we would need to negate whatever it's done here if there's an ascending slope in front of us, so that we don't try to move them forward. Because if we do that, then they will become ungrounded 2 frames in a row, and then we'll end up pushing them, and I think that's what's happening. So I've just like delayed it a frame, I guess is all I've done. So not quite. And nobody's asked me about my shirt. I'm getting a little bit sad here. It's a very nice shirt. I would like to show it to you, but I need somebody to ask about my shirt. Okay, I'm going to think about this for another minute, and then I might switch over to doing a GIF of Super Rocket Ride, because it's Screenshot Saturday, so got to get those GIFs. But I'll think about this this for another minute and see if... This will have to be very, very precisely sort of targeted, because if I get this wrong, then we'll end up just stopping the player from moving, which we don't want. In like some other situation, that is. Yeah, no, this is going to take a little bit more thinking power than I think I have right now on the stream. So, but I think that's pretty good. Pretty good overall. We got the sliding going. A couple little quirks, but got the climbing kind of going here. Not getting stuck at the top, and we slide down. So really, it's just that, and kind of this is kind of a quirk, I guess, but that sort of makes sense that if you run off. I'd rather have the player kind of like fly off like that in that scenario, but because of the way the controller works, it's projecting onto that ramp briefly, and so pushing the player down. Which kind of makes sense. And then I think we're getting one frame where we can kind of run, and so we're just running off of it or something. So it might be fixable, but I'm not too concerned about that. Alright, cool. So that's pretty good. I will make a note for myself to... I'm kind of half in Hack and Plan and sort of half in Trello right now for this project. But trying to switch over to Hack and Plan for this one. So let's make a note in... Did I make? Yeah, we did. Cool. Let's make a note for this to add flag. Yeah, so because I'm not 100% committed to this yet, but I do want to commit my code. So if we do that, then I can at least commit my code and just toggle between the old and the new stuff, and actually get some value out of version control here. All right, so let's save that.